Frieda Beyer-Kaemmerer was a German writer. She was born in 1880 in Danzig and was a private secretary and medium in Berlin. She wrote at least one book about her experiences as a medium, Occulte Begebnisse, i.e. occult happenings. The date of her death isn't known. In 1923 she published two works. First, we will cover her Okkulte Mächte, i.e. occult powers. Mystique has a woman waiting for the mystical high point of her life, and after much waiting it happens, when some mystical force visits her and leaves behind a calling card signed Occult Powers. Nothingness has the narrator do a bunch of philosophical navel-gazing about everything coming from nothing, as they leave their hometown and not much else. The next two stories are actually good. The Poor Fool concerns an old man and a woman he loves but who only loves a man who is dead. Then one terrible night the dead man comes to her, and she gives him her body and lifeblood, but the old man goes mad and seems to kill her outright, as he remains cowering in the corner fully insane, as she has now become the property of the dead man forever. Incubus concerns a doctor who is called to a woman by her husband who says she is insane, but she says he is a hypnotist keeping her as a medium, made her forget all her family and friends so she could not leave, and has his dead brother demand to have a child through her so he can be born into the world. The doctor frees her from her husband, but then one day she gives birth to a child who isn't there and dies. Old Avenarius is more of the preceding mediocrity. A man sees the ghostly impression of a dead friend buying a book and then he finds it and that's it. Life Lies at a Distance, the final good story, concerns a woman who feels the coming in spirit of her beloved Frank Vale as she dies, and so she tells her hated husband to make love to her to help her die, and he does. Now we will cover her novel Der falsche Prophet, i.e. The False Prophet. It concerns the pastor Peter Cornelius, who founded his own spiritist lodge based on proving life after death, and thinks himself the founder of a new world religion and calls himself the master. A local doctor, Dr. Fritz Sidoni, is not thrilled and considers it all humbug, but is taken by one of his patients, the teacher Elisabeth Meinecke, to one of his seances anyway. The medium, a girl whom Cornelius found to have mediumistic powers, after she was accused of being a witch, and whom he keeps in strict isolation from everyone as he does not have any powers himself, materializes the floating body parts of a young girl who recently killed herself, and Elizabeth faints. Her health keeps failing, and while Sidoni's fiancée, the Baroness Edith von Hammerstein, goes to Master Cornelius for help, he hypnotizes Edith to only love him and to reject her fiancée. He doesn't quite succeed, but Edith does push Sidoni away, while Cornelius curses the poor dying schoolteacher to hell for daring to refuse to accept that her sickness is caused by her own dead father sucking her lifeblood like a vampire, as the master cannot stand anyone disagreeing with him on anything. So he rages on outside while Elizabeth is saved by quick bedside conversion to Christianity. Later, as Cornelius calls Edith to his house, Sophia the medium, who has fallen madly in love with Cornelius due to being isolated from everyone else, goes mad with jealousy and tries to kill her but stabs Cornelius instead. Edith then disappears for 4 months without a word to her fiancé before she just comes back. Definitely very underwhelming.